Now we're going to put the second and darker coat on. The first coat's dried. We've mixed up the second coat, got it the way we want it. So we're going to start putting that on. Use the exact same technique. Just go back and forth. Start on the tape, end on the tape. You got your wet rag there for any brush overs that you can wipe off. Typically, the second and darker coat is thinner than the first coat. So you want to be careful for sagging. If you see you got a little bit too much moisture on the brush, then the paint's going to sag and run a little bit. So when that happens, you just take your brush and brush back over it till it stops sagging. You don't want to let it dry sagging like that if that happens. So you just want to keep going back and forth. Same thing. And one thing I will tell you is that acrylic paint always dries darker than it is when it's wet. So when you're painting this on, it's not going to look as dark as it will look when it's dry. That's something you have to work out on the sample board. That's why I always recommend people work out the color on the sample board first, how dark you want it or how light you want it. So I just keep going back and forth. Same deal. It's real light, but it will dry darker. And then you get back and you look at it and you go, well, maybe I want a little bit darker here or there. So just put a little bit more in your brush. Come back to the panel. When you see an area you might want a little bit darker, you want a little darker streak here, a little darker streak there. Also, when you're totally done with the door, I typically get back, and if I want a little bit darker here and there, I just get a little on my brush and revisit that area. Just make a darker grain stroke all the way across.